Damn it! I thought that he would have continued just before we're on air. Juve starts singing, and then he sees that the timer says 1 second until we're on, and I just hear, oh, he stops. What can't stop though is Order winning. That's a segue. I believe Order have won the last 5 or so games that they've had. Direwolves have been on something of a losing streak, but Order close out game 1, Juves.
I didn't know we were going to throw each other under the bus on the hangout, but it turns out this is where we throw each other under the bus, and when we feel comfortable in our environment and comfortable with each other, we actually tell the world. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
My house, my rules.
Yep.
That's how it works.
Okay.
How did you feel about that game? You were disappointed from the draft.
Yes. I feel like the Direwolves really let themselves down in the draft, and I think that we see this Olaf pick from them time again, and it works for them, more often than not. So it'd be rude of me to say don't pick it, but I think the Trundle pick from Order just had far too much value. They got Senna Maokai, which I think is completely bonkers and broken. Renekton isn't a champion that loses early game either, so they kind of nullified the Renekton Olaf matchup. And then I think the Trundle pick for me just had too much value in this game. He has the ult target Olaf, he has an ult target in Jarvan, and he has an ult target in Nautilus that make him just like a 1v9 champion in team fights. And I think, we'll touch on it later, but Only had a really superb game.
Yeah, I mean, Only did have a bit of a monster game. Both junglers kind of just let bot lane do their thing and sort of stuck to the top half of the map most of the time.
Well, we talk about Direwolves being this top-focused team, and Miru often finds himself pathing towards chippies and leaving bot lane on an island just to 10 CS per minute. But this game, Only pathed towards top side. He kind of nullified the volatile matchup where chippies needed to get a lead. And in doing so, he actually got himself a lead just through superior pathing as well. The Senna Maokai protected some of Only's jungle camps, which was really good. But I think Only, like the pathing was just really, really good.
The issue, it seemed like, as watching that game, is we're sort of like 15 minutes in, and we're talking about the fact that not a huge amount has happened. There hasn't been necessarily a standout. It seemed like after the draft, Order just started making it hard for themselves, and in many ways they were their own worst enemy for game 1.
Well, no. So Order played the game really well at from the first minute to maybe like the 10th minute. I don't know when the Rift Herald fight was. Like they got themselves a lead in which the game should have just been over, and I don't even say that lightly. Like the game should have really just been closed up shop, and we'll go to the next one.
Yeah.
And we were having that conversation, but then Order, for whatever they did, Rare 7 got picked. He did one of the Rare 7 things that we often talk about. He dies for no reason sometimes.
Yep.
And then it wasn't enough for him to die. They said, okay, you've killed Rare 7. That's not happening on my watch. I'm going to die with him. And so then like one more person went in, and I think Swiper died in that team fight. And then it was like, oh, Swiper's dead? I'm going to die too. And then another person went in and died. And it was really like a circus for a moment. But the circus...
It was like an action movie where each person just takes their turn to attack Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
As opposed to everyone piles on at once.
Yeah, and so then Order actually threw maybe a 2,000 or 3,000 gold lead. I think they even lost Rift Herald. They lost the tower, and it was then an even game. But I don't think an even game is enough for Direwolves to come back in. Like, they needed to not lose lane, not lose early skirmishes, and not give away a gold deficit. And so Order, I think, are lucky that Papa Spawn actually got them a lead in draft. But, like I said to you, we saw the best and worst of both teams in this game. The one where Order has a really good game to a certain point, and then they throw. And then we saw Direwolves being really resilient and managing to, off the back of, I think, Vital... 10 CS per minuting and team fighting well, and their Orianna Jarvan combo get back into the game. And so, like, that's why I'm not sold on this series, and I don't know who wins, is because anyone could have won that game, and we saw one team in, one team not in, and one team play well, one team play well.
When it's a situation where, like you're talking about, Order in front, they make some mistakes. It seems to be entirely mental, the way that they fall apart there for a while. What do Direwolves do to capitalize or try to encourage that kind of behavior? How do they force that kind of behavior? Is it a matter of like just trying to pick on Rare to get him tilted? Like how do you force this situation over and over again where it seems like Order are throwing it as opposed to Direwolves are taking it away?
Yes. How you capitalize on that is, so firstly they draft for chaos. Okay, you have Olaf, you have Jarvan. They just want to skirmish, right? They want to skirmish in a topside river over an objective. What objective? It's the Rift Herald. And so you see, they forced Order to make a decision. Are we contesting this? Are we happy giving it? We probably outscale them, or not. Maybe even if we don't outscale them, at the mid game we spike way harder. So Are we happy giving these objectives? And you saw just contesting everything. That's what Direwolves did. They contested everything. They contested objectives. They made Order, question whether they fight for this. And it's just about, just forcing fights, just forcing chaos. And Direwolves did that very well, and it got them to a point in the game where the game was even. Again, like I said, I think they need to be better than even when they draft like that. But it's more, sometimes you can win games from just putting pressure on your opponent and making them make a decision on whether what we give and what we don't give. Because sometimes you'll find that they give too much, and then you just slowly get back into the game, or they'll take a fight that they shouldn't take.
Well, that fight came at about 10 minutes into the game for Direwolves to take their opportunity. 10 minutes into the game is also when Neosurf competition ends for you guys. Neosurf are giving away legendary skins, epic skins, and masterwork chests and keys for every game played during the OPL playoffs and finals. Head over to Twitter at OPL to find out how to enter the competition. The first 10 minutes of every game is when you have your opportunities to enter, and then winners are chosen. And you just get free stuff. And honestly, who doesn't like free stuff? I'll tell you someone who loves free stuff, Cupcake, because he's going to get a chance to get a free win. He's in for this game as Direwolves take red side for game 2. What's Cupcake going to bring, Juves,
so the thing
that we were missing from the first game?
Yeah, so the thing that Cupcake brings that Decoy doesn't is he brings kind of, I don't even know if it's a deeper champion pool. It's just a different champion pool. He plays Bard, he plays Taric, he opens up Taric Kalista. He plays Bard, which, opens up pretty much... Ayla can't play melee supports blind because that means Cupcake can play Bard, and then he can just be River Bard and affect the map, quite extensively. So I think it just gives a different outlook, a different kind of approach to the game. It freshens things up. I don't mind it in a best of 5, especially when, it's do or die.
All right, well, we'll find out how Cupcake steps up and joins this Direwolves team to be able to see if they can eke out game number 2 in Order versus Direwolves. Decoy's out, Cupcake's in, Direwolves taking the red side. Do you think that he is enough to bring some change, Juves?
I think whether they alternate back to Cupcake or Decoy, it's enough to get a game, for sure.
Let's see if they can get that game as we head into game number 2. It is Order versus Direwolves, and it is the Macca's Champ Select.
If you're craving the taste of your favourites, head to Macca's for a fast, safe and contactless drive-through experience. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.
It is the second game in this best of 5 series. Direwolves need to pick up the pieces there after a very disappointing, quite honestly, there, Rusty, game number 1. They had an idea, they had the ability to really flex it in picks 4 and 5, bring it online, but they just fell so far behind in an early stage that really the dream combination was very rarely seen.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good your strategy is if you can't get there to execute it. Skimmy, it means that there's some problems that need to be solved in the interim. And the problem with this happening in a best of 5 is you've got one game to really correct it, which is this game. You've seen what happened. You know perhaps what it is you need to do to better yourself. This is the game to prove that it works. What they've chosen is to put Cupcake in, and they've also chosen Red Side. So these are 2 adaptations that have been made by Direwolves immediately, and you're hoping to see improvements from this.
Well, we're going to see the opening first 4 bans be the exact same as game number 1, with the difference being now the final bans towards what we saw from the top lane.
Yeah, Olaf actually taken away here. With Renekton set, it was very different focus. So Yumi's still available. And they've gone for a Kalista first here order. Now, Swiper, not a Kalista player. He's just not a Kalista player. So it's most likely going into the hands of Rare. And we often see it, of course, with the Taric. So ready to see what Direwolves will do in response to this pick, knowing, presumably, of course, where it's going.
You start to wonder, right, if they are going to go for the Ezreal Yuumi right out the gates here. If that is going to be the direction that Cupcake wants to go with this one, or if they are going to look to try and flex that later in and really force Ayla's hand, as Juves mentioned, with the Bard, Taric, and the ideas amongst. What they are going to go for, however, is Mir deciding to opt now away from the Jarvan and stick on what quite arguably is his best jungler in the Lee Sin. They lock that one in.
Yeah, they're also looking more towards an Ezreal Yuumi composition here. So they've gone for the Ezreal early. They're just going to match the AD carry role. They can still vary their support champion, depending on what their opponents do here. So it doesn't necessarily say, we will be Ezreal Yuumi. They still have Braum. You know, as Braum, still a very sound combo. Now you've got the strategy here implemented by Order. No surprises on the Taric Skimmy, but the Azir, the early lock-in for Hayri.
That hurts so damn much. You've just given literally Order everything that they want at this stage, right? The fact that you had to deny away the Renekton and just opened up this incredibly strong first 3 picks here from Order. Every single time I see Harry on this pick, I get a little bit terrified. You said maybe last game we'd see a response from Shock, be it that he goes for the Corki. We will see it this time, rather than opting into that Cassiopeia or Syndra, which tend to be his comforts, so very different priority here.
Yeah, well, he's picked more for the matchup, right? Ezreal and Corki is a pretty stock standard lane. Azir Corki, not Ezreal Corki. Azir often has the priority early, often has the better push early. My concern was that Order would just ban away supports if you choose to lock in that mid laner and match the mid lane role. So now, very clearly, they've gone for the Bard ban. They could consider Braum, which I think makes the most sense given what Direwolves have got. You could consider the Yuumi as a potential option as well. But there you go, they choose the Braum. It makes a lot of sense. 280 carries and a Braum just sounds like it's too powerful.
Yeah, they've just banned away literally everything that we've heard of that Cupcake can be fantastic at, and what will give them so many escape windows to deny what Taric brings to this table. Obviously, the response and the direction from the Direwolves here is we want to lock down only. Obviously, the Trundle, based on what game number 1 presented, but the Sejuani, which we saw in the later stages of the OPL split, where he was just such a menace, really dictating once again these team fights, the pressure and everything.
And they've gone for the Tahm Kench. So my feeling about this pick is that Cupcake's champion pool right now for competitive is limited. And I think that they've gone for, they wanted a tank. I think they wanted a Braum-like character, and they've given that away by prioritizing the Corki. And now, Tahm Kench is locked in, who is much more of the defensive champion, doesn't synergize in any way with the rest of the comp, is more of a standalone. The Ezreal Tahm Kench is just a super weak side, fine 2v2. So Direwolves have very clearly said, Swiper, tell me what you're playing, because we are going to counter you.
Well, that's interesting, right? Because they were originally on Order's side posturing towards a Karthus, which once again, fantastic pick for Only, always pops off on it. But they decided to once again switch towards the Maokai. This time that'll be a top lane for Swiper, but then the Rek'Sai for the early game threat. It just seems like Only's clear memo in this series is keep tracks of Mir, bully him out, make him go behind, then our lanes just win on their own for right.
Yeah, I like what Order have done here. I mean, they've got the Kalista Taric. It's a very strong combo, decent for team fighting prowess as well. They've gone for the Azir for Hayri, comfortable champion for him. Rek'Sai obviously has a lot of early control and is one of those soft counters into the Lee Sin, because you can never Q a Rek'Sai. They'll unburrow and they'll prevent the damage, and they'll outtrade you on the spot then anyway with that knock-up duration, especially if they go Hail of Blades. And now you've got a Maokai to round the comp out. Flanks potentially available. Engage going to be there for them now as a result of that champion. Order's comp, once again, you look at our blue side team, it makes sense. Direwolves, they've gone for the Ezreal Corki, and they've gone for a Lee Sin. So they've got a lot of poke. But then they've also gone for the Lee Sin with the Camille, right? And what does a Lee Sin and a Camille do? They're more engaged. Lee Sin can peel, Camille can't peel at all.
Yeah.
And now that is their last pick choice. So I mean, if I'm going to be honest with you, I don't understand the pick. I can see it maybe working as a side laner, but like you gank top lane once, you get a Maokai a single kill, and then I think it weathers Camille fine. And I think that's going to be a really hard thing for Direwolves to get through from this draft.
Well, I'm concerned, right, because this is obviously a comfort pick for Chippies, and we know what can happen once he gets a couple of items online, but it's reaching that point in the game, and you start to rack your mind and go, what is their clear initiation? What is their clear plan? Yes, you have that poke that comes out of those two quote-unquote AD carries, but then you've got the, I guess, kill secure with the Lee Sin or the Camille. It just, I don't want to say it doesn't feel cohesive, it just feels a little bit like it can get so punished, and then as a result fall behind and follow a very similar narrative to game number 1.
So what can the Direwolves comp do? I think the answer is going to be about split pushing to win. It could be a 1-4, it could be a 1-3-1. And I think that's what we're going to have to look at, right? If Corki goes for the teleport, they try and set themselves up in 1-3-1 situations, it is very hard to deal with a Tahm-Kench Ezreal if there is a Lee Sin also there to protect them and kick them away. So, I mean, we have to explore that. The question for me is, how do they even get there, right? Like, how is the Corki going to get to level 16 completely unstopped by the opponents? How are the Ezreal and Tahm-Kench, notorious weak side champions, against a Kalista Taric? How are they going to get to that point where they can hold that 3? Because if you're Order, you just dive them. You've just got 5 people there instead. So they go to your side lane, we're just going to run it down mid and ARAM to win, if that's what they do.
And to follow that up, how hard is Cupcake's job here in this game to really find value with that Devour to, prevent people from just being one shot and deleted if a team fight were to break out. That is what's going to be in mind, Rusty, as we kick into game number 2 of this best-of-5 series. Both teams hanging on here in the lower bracket, looking for a fighting chance to keep their playoff dreams alive here in Split 1 of the 2020 OPL. Order, after the result in game 1, looking very, very comfortable, still keeping up that fantastic form as of late.
Yeah, the Order have definitely continued that momentum forwards in a very positive way. Direwolves still seem like the same team that we've seen of them in the past couple of weeks, and that's a concern, right? Because they are the ones who need to really get it together, fix the issues, and come into this game strong. Bring back the Direwolves' aggression. Don't let Mir fall behind.
We're going to see how they look to try and make that plan a reality. Both junglers now opting for a blue start instead. And then going to transition in to the Gromp. Now, what we saw of last was Mir go for that level 1 gank, really. Just get the red buff, feign a blue take, and then just straight away show face. I feel like that plan may change a little bit more this time. Maybe look for the double buffs, get level 3, then try and make that a reality.
Nice little stunning bot lane.
Bot lane is where the action's at. Rare stacking as many Rens as possible. He gets the execute at the last second. Cupcake going to flash on forward. He picks up a kill and shares the assist gold across. Very aggressive. Without the junglers even there, they are forcing ADC difference.
Yeah, and again, that's one of the things you can do, right? Kalista Taric, if the stun hits, Kalista's going to do ridiculous damage. It's the lethal tempo build as well, not the Hail of Blades. So if the Taric stuns, that ramps up. Crazy damage and scaling. This Cupcake is the sad B after Hail misses a skill shot.
It hurts. It really does. But they're going to mean that Rare comes back to this lane, or both AD carries come back to this lane with no summoners, but Rare will have that advantage as he has gone for the Cole. Looking to farm away now as a result, stay safe for those few minutes whilst that is down, as Vitals in opted for the Rejuve pop. So all to sustain, maybe now transitioning into a more poke from afar and wait for that tier to be completed.
Mir looking for an opportunity in mid lane here. He's actually brought Chippies down. If Chippies flashes with the hookshot, they can kill him very easily here.
They're looking for it, but the disengage that Azir presents is just so incredibly strong. Now we are looking at that gank we highlighted. Double buffs at level 3. That's going to force out a teleport response. Chippies does not care about top lane at all. Frozen underneath Swiper's turret. He's shown face in mid, now shown face in bot. Going to be tough for him.
Yeah, Chippies is honestly sacrificed himself for the team. I'm sorry, Skibby, I don't actually have a stream right now, so you're going to have to keep talking.
My one is completely frozen there, Rusty,
you don't
so I'm glad we're on the same
just
page.
So we're just watching Mir? Let's talk about Mir.
Let us talk about Mir. What do you think? Lee Sin is his go-to champion. It is his highest played, his most influential, but I mean, from what we've seen so far, it's definitely been a case of let's identify bot lane is where we need to go. Summoners are down. We need to try and get some kills here.
I can hear game sounds. We're back. Mir is suddenly top lane. Miracles. He's ganking. What's happening?
He's ganking again. Oh my gosh. Only's got his number. He flashes forward, trying to get that final auto. This is a conqueror, Rek'Sai, bear in mind. Chippies finds the aggression. He gets the kill. He hook shots the wall, and he dashes back. Now that's going to be the kick. Looking for the Sonic Wave to connect. It is indeed.
Okay, so we record scratch, we freeze frame, we come back, and Direwolves are now 3-1 in kills. And that is maybe the most important kill of the game, that last one that goes over to Chippies. Now, the reason for that is my man walks mid lane at level 3, teleports bot lane, while Maokai is just having a field day getting some experience and farm up in top lane. So the fact that they're able to somehow go top, of course we didn't get to see that, I'm sorry about that to the viewers, but somehow that works, and that puts them back into this game where that could have been devastating for the Camille, for like the one split push win condition that they actively have.
Absolutely unreal pressure that's just brought across this map here to make something happen. Chippy's acting like a second jungler in this second game here. Absolutely unreal.
There is so many, like, when I don't know how to explain order. They take all of the words out of my mouth when I try to explain how they play League of Legends, because they're the best team and also the worst team within a minute span, you know? And that's, you know, they make fantastic decisions. It's just like you watch them play and you're like, how is this happening? Sometimes. And then sometimes you're like, wow, they could beat Legacy. That's what that felt like.
Some really will never understand, and some will never, unfortunately, get to see as we saw the rotations go out to top side. What are the ramifications of all of this? Well, bot lane summoners are nearly back online as a dragon does get achieved here by Direwolves. This time, not behind a level, not behind that crucial ultimate to get beaten out there by the Rek'Sai, but top lane is where the difference is. All teleports have been burnt. It's getting a little bit quiet now. We've got a chance to really talk about some talking points here, Rusty.
So you would hope so. We've got about a minute and a half until the Herald, Rift Herald, is available, and that's probably going to be the next point, especially with the very early Drake taken down by Direwolves here. So expectations are just, you know, a couple of extra jungle clears, get 6 if you can on both of your junglers and maybe the bottom lane, and start to flip the map back up to that direction. There's a chance that we just go 5-man to topside, and we completely flip the map up there, and we get another fight very soon. But for the moment, you are correct. It is going to be a lull state, and you know, a big part of that is actually going to be the build here from Direwolves. If they get a lead, they'll be happy to start stacking those tiers and just keep the lead where it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Once those tiers are online, it's use those abilities as much as you can, and that's going to be exactly what this blue buff achieves for Shock here, keeping him healthy, safe, and sustained to deal with the threat that this Azir can present. It's quite scary in that regard, but now that information has been presented, only once again we'll go for the invade topside, really punishing Mir, and always on the tail, always looking to show face to what Chippies presents.
Now Wave's starting to push away from Chippies here if he continues to hit this one. It's a recall from Swiper there, a reset after it crashes the wave in. Look at the direction he's now moving. As you can see, exactly what we expected to see. They've reset, they've flipped the map for the Herald. You've got Only standing there ready to do it on spawn, it feels like. But you've also got Vital and Cupcake now hitting that reset as well. And now they're going to hit the legs and try and get to this Herald before it's too late.
That they are. They're going to jump into this one here. And it's going to be Order that are in the driving seat. They're the ones to get to this first. The coordinated recalls from Direwolves going to mean they're going to rock up just too late to this situation. And bear in mind, guys, definitely jump onto Twitter. Go on to @OPL. NeoSurf are giving away some skins. If you can guess for this one, it is, can you predict the total minutes played? How long do you think this game is going to be? How long do you think this series
You've
is
got 1 minute.
going to go on for? You've got a minute to go, because those entries do close at 10 minutes in. But it's kind of cool to have this added into the playoffs, just make the viewing experience just a little bit better.
Yeah, no pressure for everyone, but the second that clock hits 10, you're out. So make sure you get it in now, or you're cooked. No pressure, though.
That is one way to describe it. You're cooked, you're gone, you've got to wait until game number 3.
Got the mana mune done here as well from Shock, gone for the mana build. It's pretty much standard now for all the Corkies that you'll see, so don't be too surprised seeing that one. I know it's very different to the old Corki builds, but it will be the same build just with a mana mune first.
We're looking to stack that one up. Bot lanes have Now swap to the top side. Rare still looking to complete that cull as quickly as possible. But we're starting to see those summoners come back online as a result. And Mir wants to force them being used again. The response is a dazzle. Ayla's incredibly low. Vital's looking for the angle. True Shot Barrage is not able to connect. The next Sonic Wave in Quick Pursuit will not either. Ayla has the fancy feet and will survive a little bit longer here. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't already, at OPL on Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter account, quickly sign up for one. Plenty of information on there, always updates on how the teams are doing, some photos, banter. Keep in tune with your favorite players as well. The entries for this game have closed. And no doubt Nick Boy, after we go into game number 3, will also remind you again. As far as this game concerns, once again, it is Order who are looking to try and find that dub. Direwolves, however, will find a small gold lead as a attempt goes in from Harry to lock members in place. Won't punish them too hard, however, because the next dragon is up in 20 seconds there, Rusty. You may have lagged out. Are you still there? We're doing it live. We're doing it live. That's what's happening right now, team. We are making it happen on the stream, as you can see right there. Chippies is getting it done. That is for certain. He jumps on it, locks members in place, denies out the jungler. No smite potential for this next dragon. Order were the ones to try and get the pick. They fall victim to it eventually. With a taste of their own medicine. As Mir now go for the second dragon in this game, and they will not concede everything. They will keep these playoff dreams alive. And I think that's going to be the interesting thing when it comes to champion pools, is the flexibility to rotate both Cupcake and Decoy in. You have to imagine there's been a fair amount of prep to get Vital comfortable with both and their play styles and what they bring, not only to their own lane, but to the team as a whole.
Am I back?
I'm hearing you.
I'm back.
Are we gaming? Are we ready to rock and roll, Rusty?
Oh, God, I hope so. What did I miss, Skimmy?
What you've missed is a pick onto Rek'Sai. He was gone. And as a result, Direwolf's got a second dragon.
Oh, another pick onto the Rek'Sai, huh? They've got Herald, though, Skimmy, so I guess it's going to be an attempted trade here, at least plates. Shock no mana, so he's not going to be able to do a whole lot to stop this one. But you also got Tahm Kench moving here. It'll just be the gold.
Ooh. Pings go out into only. They've spotted him at the blue buff. Hayri wants this so damn bad, but both mid laners are incredibly low. When it comes to the mana, he's forced to use the smite to take it away. Does not want to let Direwolves find that. So both mid laners will suffer. Hayri will not be too upset, as he does have the chapter. We'll have that sustain. It'll be a little bit better than what Shock has with this Manamune slowly scaling on up. Now we're starting to see the threat of the Ezreal as well. Has the Sheen in his pocket, Blue Ezreal potentially. Have to wait and see if he opts for the Trinity Force or not. But this is the concern really for Chippies. When he plays the Camille, you mentioned it's a comfort for him. You mentioned that he wants to obviously go into tanks with this, but he needs those items, at least 2 to 3 items before anything really becomes apparent right now. Well, a 2-on-1 with a bounty in your head as well and a 40 CS advantage. You're definitely looking to unlock that kind of playstyle. Really make sure that 15-20 minutes into this game, you aren't going to be, belittled by what a Maokai can offer with the likes of a Sunfire Cape, Abyssal Mask, and all the rest of it, and just becomes a walking nightmare. So I'm very curious to see how Chippies finds this value, if it actually changes his game plan at all, if he looks to go for team fights, or if they do opt for what Rusty mentioned in that 1-3-1 or 1-4 split.
You'd expect 1-3-1, I think, with the itemization that he's gone for here, Skimmy. I mean, if you're gonna rush a full Ravenous Hydra, then it's very clear that your purpose is to try and out-sustain and out-heal, especially with the Bramble Vest there from Maokai as well, the damage and pressure that he can start to build up. So he's gone for like a soft counter build with the Bramble there to stop the healing, but Chippies has gone all in on just, like, if there is a minion wave, he's going to sustain and he's going to heal his way through and just hitting that point in the game once the Trinity Force is locked in where it's too much. Usually, a Camille would go for like a Tiamat into Trinity Force, but it's very clear how he's, reinvented his playstyle here in this game.
The Let's see if that is actually what happens, if the narrative follows those predictions. Once again, it's Mir starting off the objective. He wants to get this Herald, he wants to get those lanes rolling, find that first tower in the game. Auto doing a fantastic job, however, of zoning members away. Shock just looks to try and jump in aggressively with the package laid on low. He gets exhausted, he's forced to flash away and get devoured as well. It's a fishing pond out here, but the damage is done. The amount of pressure presented on the map to force Auto to scurry away allows Mir to pick up this Herald. Now Chippies wants to force the fight. He's going to lock them in place. It's a UFC arena. They're punching, they're brawling, they're getting the job done. He's 3-0-1 right now. And this is that, you know, highlight player, that franchise player for a team like the Direwolves. When he looks good on his day, he is that 1v9 player.
Absolutely. Chippies has a lot of potential as a player to be able to carry the rest of his team across. It's about getting through that early game for him and very clearly being 3-0-1, now looking in the driver's seat of the whole game. He starts to control the tempo. And, you know, when Chippies is ahead, Mir always plays towards top side. So this is kind of the prototypical where Direwolves want to be in mid-game. They're exactly in that position. You know, they've got their weak side bot lane. They're still doing well. They were getting solo kill Skimmy in the 2v2. They're poised to continue that momentum forwards in game 2 and bring this series back to 1-1.
That's what the viewers want. We want a fully fledged, blood-pumping best of 5. And these two teams are poised for it. As OPL closed out with those 10 weeks done and dusted, both of these teams were sitting statistically dead even. I mean, I'm talking objectively, I'm talking farming, I'm talking damage. Not only was their score the same at 12-9 to finish out the split, there was very little separating them. And we're seeing those moments of magic that really demonstrate the individual prowess. That could be that deciding factor, that starlight ability to bring these teams online now. Gotta keep eyes on the item builds. Getting closer and closer is Shock now to that Trinity Force. Enemies continue to scale on up. The Direwolves are looking to use that poke that you highlighted to try and force out mid, to try and get that Rift Herald down, to get that first turret in this game. 16 minutes in, it's all been about rotation, it's all been about objective control, finding those kills, getting those picks. Getting small advantages as a result of that. Next dragon will spawn now. The third dragon of the game. Will we see Order go for a contest? Both the solo laners have their ultimates ready. Swiper does not have level 11, however, but the Nature's Grasp will do its job and locks Mir in place, who flashes into the pit and gets taken on out. That's going to be a 4v5 with that jungler. Cosmic Radiance is going to find so much value. And Direwolves cannot do anything. Chippies disengages, does not want to sacrifice out his bounty. He forced to flash away as well. Still on the hunt by Rek'Sai, who's just completely sacrificed his dragon. It does not seem to matter because the members are strong. 3 are defending. They pick up an Infernal. And Chippies lives for as long as possible. Vital's so damn low as well. They need to find one more auto. He missed the skill shot. Chippies falls down. Only gets the bounty. And True Shot Barrage. Oh, so damn close. Nearly the fadeaway kill.
They've just gone from a situation where the build is what you expect from Chippies if you get a split push, to 2 consecutive team fights from him with the Ravenous Hydra, not going for the She until now after he dies. Order basically get the ace. There was 4 people dead, 1 very low on like no HP for the Drake, and they were able to actually completely stop the momentum the Direwolves had. They bring the goal back to dead even. They put themselves in a position where Hayri is now 2-0-1 on this Azir. At 20 minutes into this game, or just below that, or to bring it back.
Incredibly scary. Just how the tempo can change at the flick of a switch. What does this mean now with this goal that has been achieved? Well, Nash's Tooth is there. Harry is starting to reach that point where the attack speed becomes disgusting and their ability to dictate these objectives. As they can zone members in place becomes far more apparent. Miramana now ready for Shock. He's got 2 of the 3 components ready for that Trinity Force. But these are those fine margins, especially in that bottom lane fight where Chippies was disengaging, as was Vital. How 1 skill shot could have kept them both alive.
Yeah, definitely. Now looking towards the next steps here for both of these teams with the Drake gone for 3 whole minutes. Outer turret's still standing, actually. And that will be the first port of call. Now, of course, you've got Baron up in 45 seconds itself, but 20-minute Barons are less likely than you would expect. In saying that, Order's composition does the Baron stupidly quick at 20 minutes if they were going to start that one off. It's a Callista as well, so that extra smite secure, that extra safety blanket exists. And you've got the Nash's Tooth rushed and finished here from Hayri. So if they get a team fight victory, even at 20 on the dot, they would be able to go straight to that Baron pit and take it down successfully.
Yeah, you'd have to be terrified of that always being an option. Even in the 50-50, the insurance policy on top to guarantee it. Now starting to see power spikes completed here. Later Rune King is online for Rare 7. Vital has now completed the core crux of a Blue Ezreal. It gives his team a lot of control to really fit the mold between both poke and engage, making Chippy's and Mir's life a lot easier to execute on. Dragon, the next one is up in 2 minutes. It's all about lane control. Chippy's the narrative obviously has to continue. He is still up by 40 CS. First time in this series where you've seen him really bring it to Swiper. Let's see if he does continue to go for this sieging pressure, especially when teleport is online. You can see that's the reason why he's in the bottom side of this map right now. If anything were to happen top side, he's always getting value. But Harry is working very close towards getting that Luden's Echo online. Adds to the burst. Or CDR. Cap him out. And would make him an absolute monster in dictating how these fights were to come online. We've seen so many times, especially around the Baron pit, when the Emperor's Divide comes in through, you're locked in place. What can you do? And I mean, all 5 members of this Direwolf comp have the mobility to disengage. Yes, Abyssal Voyage counts for a little bit, but it's maybe a situation where they don't fall complete victim to what the Azir can present, but nonetheless, it's also showing that despite falling behind in the first few stages of the game, and the goal being very dead even, only about 600 difference, they are still the ones being proactive. Let's see exactly how they translate this one in. They're going to start off once again by being the Scuttle Vision Completionist, whatever you want to call it, Zoologist. The one that is always there on the money, ensuring that they have this dominance in the river. You can see Direwolves are just scurried away right now as a 1-3-1. And Rusty is back.
I'm here, and you're not lagging, and I'm not lagging.
Are we doing the thing?
I think we're doing the thing.
Let's do it.
I'm going to watch League of Legends. We've got 20 seconds till the Drake. Skibby, let's see how we go.
Let's talk about the game, Rusty. 5-5. Been very, very close in terms of gold, in terms of economy, in terms of the ideas that have been brought to this table, but this next Dragon could be a bit of a changer. Ooh. Chippy's in a fair bit of trouble right now. East is going to get deleted before the Abyssal Voyage can come on through. Now Cupcake may fall on down as the second casualty.
There's a package on that Corki, though.
He may be looking to bait his team in. Shock is there, and Vital's in so much trouble. Burns the flash very early on. Out comes the True Shot Barrage. Hits nothing, but Order have done enough. The damage is there, and they can secure the second Drake for themselves.
Yeah, it's 2 back-to-back Drakes, and that's twice that we've seen Chippy's die at these objectives as well. Still hasn't got that Trinity Force online. And Direwolves have set up their lane assignments once again for Chippies to be here, once again for Chippies to be team fighting. And let's take stock of the draft again, shall we? We're 23 minutes in, and that was the one thing that I did see before I was lagging out, Skimmy, was the draft. Direwolves, they don't necessarily look like a 5v5 draft to me. They look like a poke composition with a Camille and a Lee Sin. And what do the Camille and the Lee Sin do? I think that you early pressure for the top laner to get ahead, and then you split push with the Camille. You put 3 people, maybe 4 people with Shock, but he's gone for the teleport. You put people mid, and then you split push and win. What are they doing right now? Well, if Chippies is dying at the Drake just before it spawns, then he's very clearly on the strong side of the map, not the split pushing side of the map. So he's not looking to split push, he's looking to team fight. If that's true, then why did they pick the Camille and the comp that they currently have? You know, that's what I'm currently seeing in this game, because they seem like they've got the Camille ahead. They would be able to split push. They've got the Iceborne Gauntlet for the Ezreal. Tahm Kench and him were controlling the lane. And now they're doing the opposite of what I thought they would be doing with their composition. And Order are just going to relish in that fact.
Well, they're just always the ones that are rotating quicker. Trying to really break up what this 1-3-1 is set up to do. But it does beg that question, right? If they are looking to sort of really force out these team fights, what is the game plan? We now do see that 2 Trinity Forces have been completed. Massive power spike here for Chippies. And if the game plan does shift at all as a result of this one.
Oh, well, what's the spike for, though, right? Like, is he going to win a side lane with that, or is he going to team fight again? Because if he's going to team fight, he'd want to be very confident in his ability to one-hitter carry. And you'd want that to probably be the Azir. Now 2-0-1 with 2 complete items and doesn't have summoners. That is a Tahm Kench ultimate.
That is. They are trying to catch out Harry. As you say, no summoners and is still working towards getting that Zhonya zone complete. Does not have any inventory space for a stopwatch at this stage, so if you can catch him with his pants down, it is a situation where you can get some gold, get yourself back into this one. But Harry knows that is the case, really, and gives his team enough pressure to get damage onto turrets.
He needs to be very careful where he currently is. Just looking to throw some sonic waves in, get some control in the topside river if he can. He's going to look to clear some vision out now. You've got a lot of resets actually coming out from both of these teams, which is why they're pretty happy to just handshake in mid lane and clear their waves out. And again, you know, this calm state of League of Legends is just all about not dying to those side lanes. This is the moment where, you know, you want Chippies to establish himself, just plant his feet in bottom lane and stay there, because sooner or later he should be able to deal with the Maokai in that 1v1. And that's when things may get to start to become a little bit dicey on Order's side.
I mean, what are we traditionally looking for that third item? Are we going for Death's Dance, or are we going to go for like a Asterix instead, do you reckon?
Well, traditionally the answer is Asterix. I'm not sure just how prevalent Death's Dance has come into that build yet, though I would imagine it's a pretty good option. Asterix is just too useful on the Camille.
It looks like he's gearing up for a fight, because he's just opted for a stopwatch on his recall. So the potential idea of what does that Trinity Force mean? Well, he's hoping to really guarantee a kill, you know, especially during that window in which his Hextech ultimatum goes off. Have to wait and see. A minute on this dragon. Lanes are pushing. He went topside for some reason. Has to now respond to Cypress pressure on the bottom side. It's such an interesting game of chess and checkers, of rotations, picks, and just ability to find your true potential here.
Sometimes checkers just works in chess, apparently. That's one of the things that we start to see with these 5v5 run it down mid style drafts. Mid lane, you know, it's very important for the state of the map, for control of the map, for, you know, the ability to pivot between top and bot river to go to objectives. And so sometimes that forced approach, that checkers as you would call it, I guess, approach does work, as here we go.
Oh my gosh. Lee Sin's gone. Once again, a second situation in which a objective presents itself and a member of Direwolves falls on down. It almost feels like Order have basically flipped the curse off themselves and passed on to their opponent.
Yeah, Mir finds himself in a very awkward spot, gets knocked up mid-ward hop, I believe, as well, so that wasn't even available to him. They've got package on Shock, so they have some tools there. And Chippies is here. Now Kyle in, though, so it seems that they want to at least keep them back.
Shock going to look to try and do a drive-by over that Baron pit. He is not. And Order just want to force that fight. Emperor's Divide locking in place. Ezreal deleted from the game. What can Chippies find as the Hextech ultimatum is waiting to be used. It has been used, but it hasn't found a kill, that's for sure. Only is very low. And the kill goes across eventually to Shock. The man that needs it. The man that is working towards those big item spikes to do the damage from afar. Chippies is in a 1v4. He's looking for some assistance from the rest of his team, but at the end of the day, both the teams go for that gentleman's handshake and say, enough is enough, you've got the Baron. We'll just look to try and trade out and get a Drake instead.
Chippies is trying his hardest to get something back, but the cost once again way too high. They had no jungler, they had no chance to smite steal it, the Baron was already gone, and once again it just feels like they're getting kills on a disengage. Now, they will be able to get the Infernal Drake, so they put themselves on Infernal Soul Point, which is very valuable, and it also prevents that from their opponents. So at least they'll get something in return. But Order with the Baron, still with a very good scaling composition here of the Azir that starts to ramp up. And while Callista's not known, it is not notorious as being this highest scale champion, you've got a Taric to support you. So suddenly it actually does have a lot of late game teamfight capability there, because the Camille cannot assassinate someone with that Cosmic Radiant.
And the red buff for the... Call it red buff, the Inferno. The flames that can come onto the map if that buff is achieved, if that soul is online, really does definitely favor both teams. You say Direwolves will be praying for it to make sure that these picks, as we've highlighted, can actually find their value. And that's going to be the 1v1 that takes place right now, but Direwolves going to be the first to rotate, and Vital has gone the wrong way.
Swiper's a bit tanky. Skibby, we'll see how Vital goes.
He's flashed. He's dashed.
He's
At
dead.
the end of the day, the sandcastles are the better play at the beach.
Yeah, Swiper is not the target that you want to be flanking or engaging on, and you could see the damage that Chippies was putting out there is minimal, so they will be able to get themselves a tower in top lane. They've got the Baron buff in hand, and once again, Dire will play towards the Camille side of the map. That's proven to be a mistake, and Order will punish accordingly.
Harry is letting teams know, if you give me my Azir, this is what will happen. I'm 5-0-1. I am making things happen. We are looking to use this Baron buff to try and close this game on out. The first turret will fall on down. The flash forward to guarantee shots disengage. This is do or die right now, but the Cosmic Radiance from Tarek is huge. He goes golden for the meantime to buy some time so they can try and get any form of kill, but it just does not matter. It will fall on down, as their chances will fall on down in this game as well. But the poke is so good at the end. Members are lethal.
But look at Harry.
There's a potential to try and turn things around right now, but Harry gets a double kill.
I mean, Harry's looking at a penta here, Skibby, if he's able to get it.
He's trying to do it. He's trying to find it. He will. He's got himself a triple as Vital found one as well. Mir holds on. He gets a quadra kill. The elusive Lee Sin at the very end there for the pentakill closing of the game. Would have been a dream end to game number 2. But Direwolves hold him for just a fraction longer here.
I'll be honest with you, I think Harry saw that he had a penta available and went a little bit too hard for it. He could have actually ended the game, I think, if he just played around the Nexus, but he went for the 1v3, and because the dash just doesn't hit a target and kill them straight away, he was caught and stuck using auto attacks to get those trades. At the end of the day, though, he's going to go back at himself a death cat with that quadra kill. There's now 9-1 on this Azir. Order well and truly still in the driver's seat, and I think it would be as simple as a teleport from Swiper to be close to ending that game. So Dire will have to show a lot of respect, lock themselves within the confines of their own base as necessity dictates, and Order will try and pressure those other lanes.
Harry potentially having a rare 7 moment, or going for those montage plays at the expense of this game going on just a little bit longer. Direwolves are in with a chance. Both buffs up in under just 2 minutes. Both potential game changers here. They are down by 3k gold, and as you highlight, Harry, with that quadra kill, will just continue to grow in power. Rabadon's a big component of that. And now they just want to go to the side lanes again. They just are bullying out Chippy. He's unable to find that value. The Abyssal Voyage had to be cancelled, and it was. Chippy survives just a little bit longer. The soldiers from afar are doing their job. What? He hookshots with the GA as well. That's perfectly timed, but what protection does he have? The answer is nothing. Hextech Ultimatum goes down. And now we're going to look at the end. Surely with the Cosmic Radiance on every single member of this game, they go for the Nexus. They're going to go for the end. And it was that dramatic that the game just froze right there.
Just freeze frame. You might be wondering how we got here. It does look like it's going to be a win there from Order. They were skipping past the champions, so that should just be a 2-0 start to this series from Order. We have to assume, as there was obviously some technical difficulties there at the end of the game.
There were. But regardless, interesting situation. Order are now in a 2-0. They are looking very dominant in this series, and you start to really wonder what could happen as a result. We're going to quickly throw back to Nickboy and Juves and get their thoughts and feedback on what we're seeing so far.
Well, what we're seeing so far, Juves, is I don't think we can technically call that a 2-0. The game is actually not over. I mean, but for 2 seconds, it would have been.
I was about to say, just to clarify, that game did not finish.
We are still playing game 2.
We are still in a absolute belter of a League of Legends match.
Who's going to win it? I just don't know.
Oh, like one team was charging at the Nexus with Taric ult on. The other team was trying to defend that Nexus. There was a 9-1 Azir running people down. Shout out to Harry having an absolute blinder of a game.
Absolutely. I mean, we're on a 5-minute competitive delay, so the teams are playing 5 minutes in the past. We're then commentating with a 5-minute delay. We were told a couple of minutes ago, hey, the game is experiencing some technical difficulties. And we start watching, and that was when Order had that first push to the Nexus, where it seemed like they probably could have ended the game there with a couple more hits on the Nexus.
I think that's where you see the true character of a man. It's the true character of, does Hayri value ending that game, or does he value the pentakill more than ending? And so I don't know if that's karma striking down and something's happening here with Hayri, but like I think he went for the montage play as opposed to ending the game. And so now we know Hayri is actually a montage player and not a player who likes dubs.
Yeah, he doesn't like dubs. He's not a team player. He's in it for himself. You heard it here first. I can only imagine how much Spawn is seething right now. He does not. That is not the way that you want this to end. There is going to be a Corona break, and we're going to revert back to a game state that relatively close to what we've seen. So I think there's some confidence that Order should be able to take out game number 2. But you know, there's the dramatic tension is palpable.
Yeah, so the Chrono Break will go back to like a neutral game state. So like where no one can be killed or is killed or dead. And so usually that's only like 10 seconds before, or could be even the instance that you're in. I've had my fair few share of Chrono Breaks in my time. They're definitely nerve-wracking.
Well, I don't remember having one this split.
No.
And then you turn up. And you say you have a lot of these.
Yeah.
And it just seems like, I don't know, that there's an assumption that I feel like I want to jump to here. It's on. I just need to feel my way through it.
I'm letting you get through it.
Yep.
Are you through it?
I'm through it.
What is it?
It's your fault. It's your fault.
Okay. Yes, I am the Grinch. I am actually the Grinch, and if I can't have fun, no one can have fun.
That's true.
But I'm having fun.
Are you having fun? I'm having fun. I'll tell. I am having fun. At the same time, the work from home thing, let me tell you, of course, I always knew how hard my spectacular partner works raising our 2 beautiful kids. I've never been under any illusions that it's not just so much more difficult than any other job that I've ever had, which involves mainly just talking shit about video games. But we're in the middle of that game. It's right before the tech disaster. And I just hear multiple waves of screaming upstairs. I'm like, Jews, I gotta go. I race upstairs. There is a baby screaming because she isn't being fed. She's halfway through her meal. The toddler is screaming because he doesn't want to put his pants on after the bathroom. Therefore, the baby is screaming more because the toddler is screaming and she is just copying what he does. And then he is screaming because he doesn't like hearing Elkie scream. So Banjo and Elkie have basically set each other off in some sort of you know that thing when you hop in an elevator and there's a mirror on either side, on either side of the room, and you look and all you just see is like 1,000 Juves?
Yep.
That's the scream symphony that was happening upstairs.
Well, because when you left, I heard it all, and then in my phone, I dialed 9-1, and then if you didn't come back in 5 minutes, I was dialing 1 again, and I was going to call the police.
You would have. I mean, it would have taken them a while to get here from America.
But the main thing was that I wasn't sure if you were coming back. I wasn't sure if the kids overran your house. I wasn't sure who was running the household at that point, but I'm glad you made it back. I'm glad the house is, locked down, and we are ready to watch some hard-fought League of Legends.
We are ready. I believe we're ready to go back. Is that the word? No, we're not ready to go back. No. I misheard, and I heard we're ready, and what I was supposed to hear was, well, we're not ready. We're not ready to go back. I imagine the control room right now is like the upstairs of my house. I just think there's probably some producers are screaming and crying. There are other producers screaming and crying because of the first producer screaming and crying. The tech guy refuses to put his pants back on. There's a lot going on in that room.
Let me ask you. What was your prediction for the Neo Surf competition for this game?
Was this the gold one, or was this the
Give me both. Give me both.
Total minutes played. Yeah, right. Total minutes played. Well, honestly, I thought the second one would be over much faster. I thought that there would be some technical, sorry, not technical, there would be some sort of like vengeance play put on by Order to just go like, all right, we're going to make sure we finish this one out. I don't even know what happens in this scenario with the competition. That's what I actually want to know.
Well,
Does this count as time played?
no,
Is it just
surely
game
not.
clock?
No,
It's
it's
just
game
game
time.
clock.
It's game time. It's game clock time. So in game time for when it ends. But it's so funny because when a competition's going on, you just see Twitch chat like, hold on for 5 more minutes, hold on for 3 more minutes. And it's just like they're begging for them to hold on. And what I imagine is like, someone's just trailing from the group and they're like, go on without me. And his arms reaching up, like that's Twitch chat right now. Twitch chat's like
totally.
reaching up, like, please just 5 more minutes. Like, they're just begging.
And in some ways, it could be their fault because they're the ones who were begging for this game to be dragged out longer than it really needed to be. Harry completely screwed the pooch on the first opportunity to finish, and then now we're sitting here, and I've got no idea what's going on.
We're twiddling our thumbs, but I will. You want to talk about the game a little bit?
Look, let's talk. Yeah, sure. Let's talk about what we've seen so far, which I would say is 99.98% of the game.
Yes, I think we've seen 99%. If I'm being honest.
Okay, so all right. Well, you are the expert.
Left. So we have the pick bands here, right? We look at Order's composition. We look at Direwolf's composition. Order's composition wants the 5v5 head ram, Tariq ult, Maokai ult, Azir frontline. They just want the traditional, like, good, hard, League of Legends, run down mid, let's fight. Direwolves have more like an intricate, let's split push to victory, let's do some cool stuff with Tariq ult, let's have a little tricks up our sleeves, They've probably got the more intellectual League of Legends draft, I would say, if you had to summarize it. And right now, Direwolves, or the state that the game's gone, was Direwolves got a lead early, and Direwolves then played Order's composition way. So instead of letting Camille push waves really far inside lanes and, put the pressure on and make people come to him, Camille came to the play, 5v5, and Order then got their leads, right? So it's almost like they drafted the wrong way for how they want to play the game. That's pretty easy to understand, I think.
That's very easy to understand. And also, it seems like, from my layman's perspective, the Direwolves seem to have wasted an advantage early game. And in the same way as we saw in game 1, Order handing it back to Direwolves really let Order get back into this game.
Yeah, so Direwolves had this game on a platter. Like the game was, they had their cabana on there, they had everything, they had cheese, they had biscuit, they had savory, they had everything, some grapes as well, and they were being fed. Camille was just being fed, a little grape at a time,
like
grape
a Roman god.
Yeah. And so Camille was legitimately the win condition, and all he had to do was run down a side lane. Now, I'm very careful about telling my teammates to run down a side lane because sometimes in solo queue, they take it a little bit too literally, and then you're the one that actually ends up, with the LP loss. But this game, all I wanted Camille to do was run down the side lane with the platter and hit the towers. But unfortunately, there must have been a golden carrot. I don't know why I'm using food analogies.
I feel like you're really getting in the weeds with these food analogies.
Let me explain, because there's food cooking at my house. I can smell it. I'm working from home. So it's kind of just coming to me second nature. But Camille didn't do that. Camille grouped. I don't know. He got tempted to come group and Order just... The Tariq ult really smurfed for them in their 5v5s, and the Tariq won them a few dragon fights. Ultimately, they ended up just getting the Baron. And now we're in the 99% loaded phase of a game.
Yeah, Order really sauteed the opportunity.
Oh, so now we're sauteing.
And then crisped it up with a nice creme brulee topping. I don't know. I don't have the references.
So that's the game state.
So that's the game state, and that's where we got up to. I mean, if this goes on any longer, we're gonna have to just start play by playing the whole game again.
I can't. You want to do
it? Here's what I would like to really analyze, though. Can we take a moment? For the real hero in this game, who of course is Skimmy.
Yeah.
Because as co-casters go, you can't get many more unreliable right now than Rusty. Zach
not
Rusty
through his
Pie
fault.
is,
not his fault.
Is the biggest flake in the League of Legends community right now, and he's in my ear. I mean, he leaves when he wants. He's taken constant bathroom breaks throughout this broadcast and leaving Skimmy to just solo cast I would say a good 30% of this game.
He's got annual leave. He's got leave in lieu, so
He's got it built up. He's
Yep.
just trying to take advantage of it
Yep.
before the apocalypse comes. So Skimmy doing an excellent job just really carrying this game. Let's see what Chad has to say. This Nickball
Well-
guy is great. I agree, Matt. Thank you very much. There's nothing about Jews in here. That's interesting.
yeah. I saw Juice Kingpin. Juice the best. Juice, he's the goat. Juice needs a shrine at Riot Games. That's what I heard.
Jews
Well
is the
done.
goat.
Yeah. It's too fast. Chat's moving too fast, so it's probably gone. You can't
It's
see
too-
it now.
Yeah, it's just too much. People do want to know what you're eating.
Me?
Or what's
Well-
being cooked right now.
Yeah, so I have actually gone down this week and following weeks. I'm trying eating. I didn't consciously make to go vegetarian. I just wanted to eat healthier, and then in doing so, that is vegetarian. So I'm eating vegetarian. So right now, there's a vegetable curry being cooked with a bit of rice, vegetables, curry. I'm a big curry fan. I'm a curry connoisseur.
What? Okay. Well, I feel like I was about to ask you this question, but this might expose the fact that you're not as much as a connoisseur as you could be.
Go,
But
let
maybe
it
I'm
out.
wrong. What kind of curry base is it?
Oh, it's a green. It's a green, just a green Thai curry. But I do like I do like red. I do like the what is that, the musman curry from
Yep.
Thailand with the nuts in it.
Yeah.
I also do like the tikki masala. That's like an Indian kind of
The
dish.
chicken one.
Yeah,
Yep.
butter chicken's pretty nice.
It's
I do
the
like a
fancy man's butter chicken.
lamb rogan josh, different one but nice.
You are a curry connoisseur. This is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I do a bit of cooking myself, a bit of YouTubing, bit of cooking. I'm not only a pretty face, Nick. That's what you got to realize.
The things that you can learn from Wikipedia. Charazi says, Nick, is your background fake? It looks too neat. No, I'm just a tidy person. I'm a big fan of Juice's tiger skin table.
It's actually, we've been through this, but I think we'll go through it again, okay?
Well,
This is
we've
not
got
a-
nothing but time, my friend.
Yeah, this is not a tiger skin table. This is in fact made from wood, and it's just one. It's like one whole table in the sense that like it's
It's one
not
piece of wood.
segmented. It's one piece of wood. Yeah.
You did see last week when the tiger table got introduced that
I'll do a
someone
bit of
said
modeling for you. No, I won't.
if it
No,
is
I
one
won't.
piece, would it support your weight?
No, that's why I was scared. That's why I came back because I'm pretty fat.
Can we
at the
get
moment.
Can we get a tech check on that? Can we find out? Because you splayed across that, I feel like is going to get us to crack at least 8,000 on the broadcast.
It might,
Possibly
and
some
then but then
TOCs on
I
Twitch.
maybe I'll just start an OnlyFans from there too. So
That's all right. I mean, look, you got to fill the break with some kind of conversation. I suppose
Yep.
this is the path we've chosen to head down. Someone said that the table, if it was one piece of wood, is much more valuable than if it was multiple pieces stuck together. I guess that's because that means you sacrificed one very old, very beautiful. Regal tree to have that table made, and I assume if you once you made the table, you just discarded the rest of the redwood.
I'll be honest. This
Mm-hmm.
table was not handmade. This table I purchased, and I have no idea about the origins of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that no animals were harmed in the making of this table.
That's good. MetLife Gaming says, if you had a choice of any poster to put above that bed, Nick, what would you put?
Probably me, right?
It could be you. Well, it's not. I mean, I've never slept in this bed. This is not my bedroom. So it's just for people who come and stay. So I feel like a picture of Jews would be appropriate.
So if that's not
we could get it
your-
commissioned like a king.
Yeah.
That you could just watch over my guests.
Well, I was gonna say, if that's not your bedroom,
Mm.
could I please sleep over?
Please.
In that
Would you
room?
like a poster of yourself above
No,
here?
but we could do like a co-cast from there. Like we just use one webcam as opposed to two.
Really create some OnlyFans content.
No.
Okay, so I'm being told that we're going to throw to a 10-minute break. I'm also just going to offer that we could just sit here and vamp. We could keep
we
talking
can.
about tables for 10
We can
minutes if you
ramble.
want.
This is now a podcast.
This is our podcast. If we were
Yep.
going to have a podcast, what
Yep.
would we pod about?
Oh, dude.
We'll talk until we're
yeah.
ready to just throw,
Yeah,
and then we'll
we
throw.
will. No, trust me. I had an idea to create a podcast, and I was
Tell
going to
me.
run it by you, but we may as well literally just run it by you now.
Please.
We should have a podcast where we look at like Reddit, lol Reddit,
Mm-hmm.
and we just talk about threads. But we do a little bit of charismatic stuff here and there. We try and be a bit funny and try and get some viewers.
Right, okay. I mean, that's that's the least defined format I've ever heard of. Like your idea is we just talk about League and be funny. That's what this show is. Do you have any idea how hard this show is to make? We already make this show.
Yeah, I mean,
but I would love to do a League podcast with you. Don't
you
get
wanna
me
do it?
wrong.
We'll do it.
I just feel
I'll
like
even get one of those microphones. I'll get one of those fancy microphones you got and everything.
one of these.
Yeah.
Yep. I could get you one of these. I'll get you one of these.
You wanna get me? Can you actually send me one?
Get you the arm?
Yeah.
90% of podcasting is just the arm. We were saying during the last game when during a particularly boring part, so it wasn't like we missed anything important. That I've dove in pretty heavily into cooking during this this nightmare world scenario that we're all suffering through, and my way. In all ways, like the way that because I've never really enjoyed cooking. The reason that I'm doing it is because I went, well, I don't like that I get all stressed out when I cook, because cooking should be something that I like. I love to cook for my partner. I like to cook for my kids. I like to cook for myself, but I get so angry as I do it because I don't really know what I'm doing other than just following the recipe. So I was like, if I can figure out more the basics, then maybe I'll enjoy cooking more and it'll become a better experience. But the way that I get into everything is that I go, well, I have to kind of guilt myself into it. So I bought a bunch of cooking stuff on Amazon. I subscribed to a bunch of those masterclass.
I've been thinking. Yeah, I've been thinking about a few of them.
I'm now
Gordon
a
Ramsay's got
masterclass
one.
subscriber, so I'm watching Gordon Ramsay teach me how to use a knife. I've ordered a few other books. I subscribe to a bunch of podcasts. It's kind of like, well, you've spent all this money and you've invested all this time. Now you have to be good at cooking, because like, what is the point of you doing all that if not?
It basically sounds like you just throw away a lot of money and you have a lot of money to throw away.
No, it's I'm saying that now if I don't cook because I spent all my money on knives and copper pots, my children will starve. So because there's no money to funnel anywhere else. Zurich is closed right now. Everywhere is closed. So we should do a cooking podcast, I think, is the point of why I started talking about this.
Fair enough. We can do that. I was going to ask a question. You know how you told me at the start of the show that we were going to play NPL, which is Niche Plays League, or Nick Plays League.
Correct.
Yep. And I had to decide if I wanted to play ARAM, TFT, or just Summoner's Rift, right?
Yep.
What if I throw that question to Twitch chat and see what they say?
Yeah, do it.
Hey, Twitch chat, what should we play? And more importantly, how do people get involved? What gives more numbers, more people access? Which game mode is it?
Well, I believe it's TFT because I think the issue is that for Summoner's Rift and for ARAMs, there's some sort of like delay in the obs, so it's harder to group up, something like that. I don't know. I'm a chef. I'm not a league guy.
I'm getting a lot of ARAMs. I'm getting a bunch of ARAMs, 10 players. But
10 players, but half of those players are us.
Yeah, we are half.
This is not. Oh, I'll tell you what. That could be a thing, though. Maybe instead of the OPL, which clearly is over, clearly we can like we're not getting back to a game.
This is my ship now. I'm the captain of this.
We should get the viewers to just team up in teams of 5, and then they play games, and then we just commentate their games, and then we give breakdown analysis.
And then we become Twitch chat, and I'll just be typing, haha, this guy sucks.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And then the shoes on the other foot.
Absolutely.
And then I'm running in your shoes now.
Because obviously it's easy to talk shit when you just some name with a bunch of numbers at the end of it because someone else thought of your name beforehand and you don't even have an original name, so how could you possibly feel like you could pick on someone else when the shoe's on the other foot, because we read all of Twitch chat, we don't necessarily
all the time.
mention
I see it all.
We see it all.
Look into my, you think, man, this is a man that's seen things. I've seen things from Twitch chat.
That is the eyes. Those
I'm
eyes
a hardened veteran.
But the person that I've seen who's been the cruelest in Twitch chat to me tonight so far is in fact Rusty the Caster. And so I feel like we should put Rusty's play under the microscope because I think he threatened to punch me earlier because I said that he was a flake.
I mean, to be honest, I'm compassionate towards Rusty at the moment. Rusty's been having some difficulties this show, but he's been a trooper and he's still performing. You can knock Rusty down, but he'll get back up and he'll perform.
I am thinking that maybe thin though the Japanese screen is, it could be interfering with the signal, and that maybe he should fold it down. Because he had no problems at the beginning, and now a bunch of problems, or at least try turning it upside down.
Now we're conspiracy theorists.
We are.
Yep.
Okay, so far we read LOL Reddit and be funny.
Well, like again, let's be collaborative. Maybe. What would be a good podcast, guys?
That's what I'm trying to. You be collaborative with these guys.
I mean, they're with us on this journey, aren't they?
Well, only if they promise they're going to listen, because it's a lot of work. Like, people
so if I don't
think
say a
it's easy to
minimum
just
of
talk,
seven,
and it's just like,
if I don't see a minimum of 7.5k, 7,500 viewers on the podcast, I'm going to be so angry.
And that's for the first episode.
At an absolute minimum. At an absolute minimum. So.
While chat come up with some ideas, whether it's about the cooking one or the LOL one, just to let you guys know on the game delay that a chrono break was attempted. It was not successful. It did not fix the issue, so they are re-attempting a chrono. What happens when you double chrono? Are we splitting timelines at this point?
So there's a few shout outs for it to be called a Kingpin podcast. Kingpin's podcast.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. I mean, I do think, judging by the 3 episodes of the Gordon Ramsay Masterclass series that I've watched so far, that just coming out with confidence straight away is the best way to get people to respect you. So the idea that we could be coming out saying that we are kingpins is a confidence that I think is that people might find attractive.
Well, I mean, that's kind of how I made a career. I had no idea what I was talking about, but I said it with such conviction that like you had to believe it.
Yep.
Then, it turns out I was right anyway.
LMAOLP says, let's explore the quality of various chocolate bars, such as the favorite of Rusty the Caster, the Flake. That's a hell of a joke. That's a
roast.
Of a joke.
I hope you learned how to make roasts on the masterclass, because that was a roast.
Analyzing each other's gameplay while talking about other LOL leagues. Would that get confusing?
No, so there's a YouTube series that some LCS teams do where they fans submit clips, and then you've got to guess what rank it is.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it is a very fun idea. It is a very fun idea. I even watch it, and it's some vein popping off, or some vein that is just like brick, like pot plant mechanics, and and they're like, I think this is iron, and then the vein's like platinum, and then it's like, oh, okay, I guess I can be platinum.
That is excellent. I like the idea of, by the way, oh no, I'll get to that later. I like the idea of viewers submitting team fights that have gone wrong for them, and we call the podcast "What You Should Have Done." And so they send in clips. You give them the advice of what they should have done in League, and I give them the advice of what they should have done in their entire life leading up to this point. And then,
but they have to send like a tiny bit of background info.
Totally,
like a tiny bit of background info.
Yeah.
Like I'm a 18-year-old person at university studying a Bachelor of Arts. I actually dropped out because I found out I don't like arts anymore. My dog's name is Rufus, and we go for walks every day.
Yeah, exactly. And so then you fix their League life, and I fix their actual life. I like that as an idea.
That is a very good idea.
Yeah.
It's working. It's working. I feel like we're maybe half an idea away now, or maybe just execution away from being the world's biggest podcast.
I am excited about the fact that Persephorus says team fights that went wrong. We just send them all of Nick Boy's team
Yeah,
fights.
I read that as well.
I mean, that's a funny joke. Joke's on you, mate. I'm dead before the team fight even starts, so I've never been involved in one. We've got who are we talking? Who's cute? Oh, God, reading back. It's gotta
that
be
person
Fred's
said
on this
I
thing.
was cute.
I don't think that doesn't sound right to me.
It doesn't. I was really confused. I thought took my glasses off. I said, "Wait, are you sure?" But yeah,
Oh my God! But when you take the glasses off, it's like she's all that. Suddenly you're really attractive.
yeah,
You just do that and let your hair down, and that's just how people become beautiful, isn't it?
I think so.
I'm seeing LMOLP. Nick Boy, are you sure you want to take on the challenge of fixing my life? You give me some background. I can fix anything. Trust me.
That's true. The one thing about Nick Boy, he actually does give very good advice. There's been a few times I've gone to Nick for advice, and he actually has, like, you leave the conversation feeling like, thank you, Father. You've just guided me on my path to success.
Are you talking about the last conversation we had at the juice bar?
Which juice bar?
Well, juice is a word we use.
Yes,
when we
yeah,
can't
no,
say
no, no,
different words.
yeah. Sorry, Bush. Not Bush juice. The juice bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. The last conversation we've had like 2 of those though, and I think
Yeah.
they've been in the same place.
Yeah.
You've definitely helped me. You've helped my trajectory as a person. I
I'm a
appreciate it.
shaman. I'm a
Yep.
shaman.
Yep.
Jacques
it's a juice
0130.
bar.
How much League have you played? I have officially hit the point when I can enter ranked. So I'm level 30, but I have not played any ranked games
Here we go.
because
Here's a good question.
I feel like I like playing with friends. That's what games are about.
This is a
So I
good
just
question,
like
Nick,
these
and
guys.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
let
please.
you answer it. It's
Please,
addressed to
please.
me, but I'm gonna let you answer it.
Okay.
I need life help. I started mastering TFT this week. I'm
Mm-hmm.
now D4. How would you solve this disaster? So that's a master tier player
Yep.
to Diamond 4 in TFT. How
Yep.
do you in 1 week?
I would say you could go to Rusty's place for a while. Try using his internet, and then when you go back to your house, you're going to be so appreciative of what you got. You're going to be able to focus, double down, and actually win for once in your life. Does that help?
I think so. Like, yeah, I think that works. In an alternate reality, in an alternate universe, in another galaxy where that advice wasn't terrible, it works.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So in a world where bad advice is actually good advice, then
Yes.
yeah, then good. What else? What game did you want to go pro in? Oh, that's interesting. What game? I mean, it's not even want. What game could I go pro in?
It has to be a tactician game, surely. It can't be anything with mechanics or like reaction.
No, it has to be. It has to be like a visual novel. It's got to be like Doki Doki Literature Club. I could join the esports team. I could start the esports team for that. That feels like something I could do. No, a game that I wanted to go pro in. I don't know. Honestly, whatever would make me the most money, because whatever game I pick, it's going to destroy my enjoyment of it. I don't believe for a second that anyone involved in the OPL, except for me, enjoys playing League of Legends anymore, because it's just work. It's just like all you see is your flaws. Whereas for me, my enjoyment of League is that I'm constantly improving. I was so bad when I started, and now I am simply bad.
Just a little less bad, I was going to say.
And seeing that progress is actually something that is valuable and still fun. But if I was a pro, all I would see is the mistakes, because I would expect myself to be amazing all the time. So it would need to be a game that I hate, but could make a fortune do it. That would be the answer.
Well, I have a theory that you go professional in games, not necessarily because you love the game. I mean, we all love the game because we started playing it and we grinded it for so many hours, right? My theory is that when you go professional in a game, it may not necessarily be because of the game, it's that you enjoy the competition. I think competition is the biggest driver for professional sports, not necessarily the game, because I think, like, you know, soccer as an example, when you start playing soccer at the highest level, or like trying to push to get to like the top, I think you lose the fun for like, sometimes you lose the fun for the sport, but what you lose for the fun, you gain in that competitive, like,
Of course.
you love that drive, like you love that, you know, that thrill of playing that sport. So that's what
it
I
just
think.
ticks that edge. I was listening to a Around the NFL podcast yesterday, and they basically said, because obviously no sport's being played anywhere in the world right now, and they said that all sport, including esports, is just to distract us from the fact that we know we're all going to die, and that's really when you boil it down, that's what sport is. And the more I thought about that, the more I went, yeah, basically any entertainment you bring into your life is just a distraction from the horror that is the brief butterfly wing flap that is our mortal existence.
Let me detour real quick and ask you, describe your perfect Dungeons and Dragons character from Tally, who's be playing tomorrow, I believe.
My perfect Dungeons and Dragons character is a bard, some sort of can I be like a bard hunter? Basically a bard with a pet. That feels like
What's
that
a
is
bard?
my perfect. Bards they wear very tight pants. They have very,
I googled it.
and they dance around with a lute. Sometimes a flute. It always needs to be an oud instrument. And they sing songs, so it's giving buffs. It's kind of like a support character where you can give buffs and debuffs, but mainly it's like a storyteller and really just moral support. And I feel like that is what I am, at least for the OPL. I offer no value when it comes to analysis or gameplay, which in D&D would be like being good in a fight. But what I do have is like an encouraging personality that just wants to see everybody be happy.
Well,
except for the people in Twitch chat who know I don't like them, in which case I wish nothing but ill on you.
Is a Viking? Can you be a Viking in Dungeons and Dragons?
Well, I don't think technically in Dungeons and Dragons, but the beauty of something like Dungeons and Dragons is it's all made up. So if your DM says no, you can't, then Juves, it's time to find a new DM.
Well, because
so
I want to
be a Viking.
Well, I want to be I want to be like a 7-foot hunk of a man Viking. And I want to be like real scary in appearance. I want to carry like these axes, I want to carry them around like on my back. Yeah. But then I want to be so in touch with my feminine side that when people really get to know me, they know me for that soft man that really wants to help people and want them to become better. And I'll always drop everything to help that person. But so like at first glance, you're like, oh, that guy's scary, but you've got to get to know me to know the real me. And I'm really a genuine caring soul.
It's so funny because basically we've said the opposite. Where you want to be this big, intimidating looking like alpha male that then on the inside is actually just like a kitten. And I want to be prancing around with a lute in tights. But then if you get close to me, I'll stab you and eat your heart.
Yes.
I feel like that's the podcast, man. That's the podcast.
Yeah, is right.
We just do constant D&D, rolling D&D session where it's just these two characters.
And they're just prancing around the world.
Totally. Look, I think we're onto something already. Yeah. Mikumanu says that's what you guys are already. That's true.
That is very true. I'll be honest, I'm seeing a lot of positive vibes from Twitch chat, believe it or not. A lot of positive vibes.
Not only that, but the views have actually gone up from when the game was on, which is a pretty damning indictment of Order versus Direwolves, but a pretty proud indictment of the Juves Nick prancing axeman podcast.
You best believe I'm sending the pay rise email already. You best believe.
Really, I've got no new information about the second chrono break. I can only assume we're into the third.
I'm having a blast though. What about you?
Look, at this point, I feel like I want to go make myself some beverage, but...
Should we throw to a break?
Should we throw to a break?
I could also get a beverage.
Well, you just wouldn't be able to have it on the show.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have some water, but because if we throw to a break, we should leave with at least, benefiting the community in one way or another, right? Like, you don't just want to leave with doing nothing beneficial.
You're suggesting we leave them with a task?
Yes. And the task I would say to leave Twitch chat with, everyone get up out of your chair for a minute, right? Stretch, get some water, bring it back to your computer and drink water and stay hydrated.
Okay, it feels to me like what you've told Twitch chat to do is that's what you want to do. And so you've hidden it under a layer of I'm going to make everyone do this. That's like me saying, all right, here's your task, Twitch chat. I want you to stand up. I want you to walk out of the room. I want you to walk into your bedroom. I want you to take off your clothes and hop in your pajamas. I want you to slip under the bed. I want you to fall asleep. I want you to stay there for a good 12 hours. And even when the kids wake up, I want you to stay in bed, Twitch chat. Don't let those kids get you out of bed. I want you to wait until someone brings you breakfast in bed. maybe the newspaper. And I know it's old school to read a newspaper in bed. We're not just looking. This is a time to not look at our phones. The bedroom should be a place where we don't just interact with technology the entire time. Instead, we bond with other people. The way I'm going to bond with people is when someone brings me my newspaper. And I say, thank you very much. Now get the hell out of here before I eat your heart. That's what I want you to do, Twitch chat. I've been told there's a 5-minute break available. Juice, would you like to take a 5-minute break? Maybe we could lead them in some sort of stretching exercise.
I'm gonna leave I'll leave the ball in your court. You can be the bad guy.
Yeah.
If you want to be the bad guy and you want to take the 5 minutes, you can take the 5 minutes. But just know, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if we took the 5 minutes.
I wonder if, well, look, you could take the 5 minutes. How about I just start doing a dramatic reading? I've got a.
No, I gotta stay. Whenever I can't leave you solo on this show because I'm scared what you will get up to. If see, this is what I'm saying. Nick Boy goes out of camera, and what does he come back with?
Hang on.
Nothing. Oh, okay. But can you please read that? When are you on? I mean. I believe he's getting delivered.
So I've got
book.
3 options.
Okay, so I was a little bit confused as to what was happening there. I didn't know if Nick Boy's kid ran into the room. I didn't know if he was getting handed his kid, but he's got his book.
Getting handed his kid.
Yep.
So I've got 3 books here, and I can just start reading from whichever one Twitch chat decides to read. The first one is 3 Women. So this is a non-fiction book. It basically, the author followed 3 women in America over the course of several years and deep dove on their relationships, both intimate and work-wise, and about how they define themselves as women in the 21st century in 3 very different relationships. There's an open relationship, there's a woman who's unhappy in her marriage, and there's a younger woman who's trying to decide what to do with her life. It's a fascinating book. Very, very good read. Second one is Daisy Jones and the Six. This is a fictional conversational biography of a band, kind of like a bit like Fleetwood Mac. So this is a fictional biography of them from the 60s, spoken biography, fantastic, great read, really feels like you know the music. And then third book, this is the third book, and ironically it's called, this is the third book by Hanif Abdurrahman. This is a love letter to a group, a sound, an era. It's called "Go Ahead in the Rain: Notes to a Tribe Called Quest," and this is a book about the seminal hip hop band from the late '90s, early aughts, A Tribe Called Quest. Very fascinating book at hip hop culture, so we can pick which one we want.
Can I just chime in there? I've actually been reading some books as well, believe it or not, and I think I might talk to Twitch chat about the books that I've been reading. I'm not sure if you'll fully be able to grasp the concepts of the book. You know, Dr. Seuss, Green Eggs and Ham?
I am familiar.
I've been reading that.
Okay. How far in are you?
I'm struggling. I'm the first 2 pages at the moment.
Right. So he hasn't even eaten them on a train or eaten them on a plane. He's not eating them here or there. He's not eating them anywhere. Well, at the moment, Sam is still trying to convince to eat the green eggs from the get-go.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's quite an intellectual book, and it really does tug on the heartstrings and make you actually ponder about the dimensions and intergalactical strategy of the world. So it's probably, I have to get through it.
Do you want me to spoil it for you?
Yeah, spoil it.
He eats the green eggs and ham at the end.
Kind of mind blown, really. I didn't expect that.
I know, because the entire book he's saying, I will not eat them here or there. I will not eat them anywhere.
And then he eats them.
Like green eggs and ham.
It kind of makes you not trust people, I guess, after that.
Well, okay, so that's a really cynical view of that, and I understand, because that was my toddler's opinion as well. He was like, "Dada, I don't understand
Dada,
this entire time. I feel like I don't trust people anymore because I feel betrayed." The book was telling me one thing, and then ultimately there was a bait and switch at the end, like The Usual Suspects, and suddenly it turns out he does like green eggs and ham. You could look at it that way. You could also look at it the other way, which is, of course, is that it's the power of change. It's the fact that it's a testament to the willingness of a monstrous hair beast to have an open mind and try something new.
Yeah, right. I see. That's what I'm saying. When we go to the juice bar, I can always rely on you to have this alternative outlook on things and give me a positive foresight.
I'll tell you what you shouldn't read though.
What?
The 1st of October. Is it the 30th? Oh wait, October. What is it? It's another Dr. Seuss one. It is. Please try to remember the 1st of October. You don't want to read that one.
No.
That'll mess you up.
Okay.
It's entirely about a month that doesn't exist, with the best day of the year, and so you listen to this story, and every page is just an incredible thing happens on the 1st of October that you would want more than anything in your life. Ice cream sundaes as tall as mountains, and other various wonderful childlike things. And then at the end of the book, you realize, well, nothing in my life is ever going to amount to anything close to that, so why bother?
I guess you got to start them young. Got to start them young. You got to disappoint them young.
Dr. Seuss contained multiples, my friend.
Yep.
So no one wanted to hear any dramatic reading. Okay.
Nope.
I'll get some more options. I've got Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. If we feel like some light reading. I've got the Nickel Boys, which is about a reform school in the 1950s. Horrible things happening at this reform school from a young African American child who was incorrectly sentenced there. What have we got? We've got An Anonymous Girl. This was just a trash thriller, pointless, truly devious. I thought I would enjoy this because it's a bit like Harry Potter. Turns out that not only is this the first of 3 books, they don't even wrap up the mystery of the first book. They don't even, not only do they not wrap up the mystery, they introduce a second mystery before the end. So you don't get closure for not only the thing that you thought you were going to get closure for, but not even the new thing that they introduced. Ridiculous. And now I'm forced to read the other 2 books. I've got the second one here. I finished that. Piece of shit as well. Bill Clinton and James Patterson, The President is Missing. A book this big, it really only needed 15 pages. Not interesting at all. What is interesting, this is a biography about Banjo Patterson. Obviously the namesake for my child, but a really fascinating life. And really, you think you know about him? You don't. Moneyball. This is a good read. Making baseball statistics fun, interesting. This was a book that I'd heard a lot about. Obviously, we've all seen the Brad Pitt film. I know all the 17-year-olds in Twitch chat have.
Stop.
Love poems for married people.
Let me touch on that. Actually, something very interesting. Moneyball. Get the Moneyball book. This is for everyone that likes League of Legends. This is actually going to be really interesting for them. So I'm not going to leak anything like that or anything of those things. But basically, there's statistics you can rip from games and get from games that actually give you, similar to this Moneyball. So TLDR Moneyball, or it's all about building a team around statistics and getting the person statistically the best.
Yeah,
right?
It's about going it's not about home runs and stuff. It's just about what is the core, and the core way you win is just statistical analysis.
There is a and I'm not talking about KDA guys and things like that. I'm not saying KDA statistics, but there is a very big argument to be made that this Moneyball movie, there's a similar argument to be made that you can do this in League of Legends because you have an abundance of stats at 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You can see who's been good at laning, who's got a CS lead, who's doing the most damage. I know some people who do build teams around stats. And this is worldwide, not just Oceania. And I think it's definitely something very interesting that a lot of teams are really honing in on. And I know you see it more overseas. They have a ton of staff, and they have people to actually run numbers and do certain things like that. But I think it's definitely the next thing you'll see in the OPL. I think coaches, players, staff, management will start to actually figure out what do these stats mean. And they'll start it won't be their whole opinion, but they'll start formulating opinions from the stats of players, if that makes sense. It doesn't paint the whole picture, but it's going to paint a nice bit of it. Maybe a good half or a good quarter.
That was a very good segue back into League of Legends. Unfortunately, we are going to talk about books again. Dr. Watermelon said this is too cringy. Dr. Watermelon, it's either this or it's just a hold screen. So I invite you to mute this, and then when the pretty colors come back on screen, then you can unmute. I won't be in your life anymore. She said this is all about the Harvey Weinstein, New York Times reporters who broke the Harvey Weinstein story. This is a pretty good book for 3/4 of it. The end gets pretty dry because they pivot off and start talking about one of the other Me Too cases. And it's kind of well, you spent all this time building me up for this one. And then you release that tension 3/4 of the way through the book. And now I need to learn about something else. No, it's the same thing twice. The Deep. I'm only about 1/3 of the way into this. I keep giving up. It's about some haunted ghost story for the Titanic, but it's not a read that's catching me. Agatha Christie, and then there were None. This is one of the seminal mystery books. I'd heard so much about it. honestly, it didn't impress me as much as I thought it would. Something that did impress me, The Mirror Thief, told through 3 generations about one mirror and the power of that magical device. Fascinating read, really not something that I expected. Red, White, and Royal Blue. This is where the first son of the President of the United States falls in love with the Prince of England, and they carry on some illicit love affair. It is such a fun book. It is very, there's just so many like wholesome hookups. I'm sure a lot of League fans would be a big fan of that. The Mother-in-Law, a mystery that I was not expecting that I would enjoy, but it turns out a really nuanced look at the complicated relationships we have with our in-laws, if we do in fact have them. The Test. This one's a thin one, so you can get through it really quickly. It's basically like a Black Mirror episode, but thoroughly enjoyable. Honestly, it'll take you like 15 minutes to read. Something that is also skinny, but will take you like hours to be able to pass even one page. The Order of Time, which is a brief look at how time exists in a universe in a way that we can process that. Juves, you just woke up. Welcome back.
Sorry, sorry, just a little bit tired.
Let me introduce you, if you're feeling tired, how about you check out Recursion, which will keep you up the entire night. You'll read it in one sitting like I did. I started at 7 o'clock and I went to bed at 2. Fantastic read. Do we want to keep going?
Like personally, I feel like I'm just being held here in a situation where, like, you know, the guy that knocks on your door to talk about stuff.
Oh, I've got that book as well. Let me introduce you to the original Old Testament. The power of Christ can really help you in these times where there's no League of Legends, and let Him come and fill you with the Holy Spirit in the same way that the Chrono Break has not filled us with League of Legends.
Well, there was someone that asked if there's possible to show Juice highlights, but unfortunately for him, the highlights would only last for about 5 seconds, and then we would be out of highlights. So while I like the idea, there's just not enough, highlights, unfortunately.
There you go.
I just, not through any means of my own, it's just my team's sucked.
But is it not the poor craftsman who blames the tools? Is that the expression?
I was the tools.
And it sounds like you were playing with a lot of tools.
I was the tools, and they didn't use me well. I was the asset. I was the kingpin.
Looking for. Normally, I would not drink on the broadcast, parch my sated thirst. But there's no rules anymore. Well, I don't even know. I in fact, having not heard from production in the last, I would say 12 minutes,
could have just
I'm
all
not
dropped
even
down
sure
and we're
if
just chilling.
They've probably just given up.
I will say though, we've actually gone up viewers again. Believe it or not.
Yeah, you know what? We jumped 200 viewers when I started talking about books. Do we want to continue? I've got so many things here. I could go upstairs and start bringing the bookshelves down from there. I could grab my Kindle.
No.
Let's do a book podcast where I just read to you, Juice.
The problem is I don't really read books. I more listen. I like listening.
That works perfectly. I'll read to you.
Dude, if you read to me, I probably would listen. Honestly.
You are so good for my ego.
I'm such a supportive. Like, I like to support people. You know what I mean? I like to call myself. I'm an enabler. I will enable you to do stuff.
Supportive and enabler are two sides of the same coin. Like, supportive is positive. Enabler, no one ever says enabler in a way that's a positive influence on someone else's life.
Well, like, I'd never, like, you're your own person. You make your decisions, and I'll enable those decisions whether they're good or bad. That's part of being supportive.
Okay, right.
Sometimes, good analogy. You like cooking now. Sometimes you got to burn yourself on the stove to realize not to do that again.
Yeah, right.
Right? So I will enable you to make a few bad decisions. So if only you promise to be better and prosper from those.
Right, okay. Well, I'll tell you, the first bad decision I made was coming on air for this League broadcast that is mainly just about books. Because I was promised League of Legends action. And apparently it's now just us talking, can we discuss baking techniques? I haven't gotten to that episode of the Masterclass series, but let me just double check. I'm sure there is something in here about baking.
Like there has to be. If there's no baking in your masterclass, then is it even a masterclass?
That's an excellent question, Jules, and this is why you and I have several very successful podcasts together.
Businesses. Me and you are business brains.
So James Suckling teaches wine appreciation. That is a phenomenal name for a wine taster. Here you go. Dominique Encel teaches French pastry fundamentals. Now, obviously, I can't give you the login to my masterclass account because, like all normal people, I use one password for every single account that I have. And I feel like it would be some sort of sharing account that I can't break some sort of T's and C's. What I can do, Juves, and Lady Dubsy, is I can watch this episode, and how about I just live commentate and repeat what I hear to you?
Isn't that like a terms of service?
They're not watching. It's like 2 a.m. in America right now. So this is
the internet never forgets.
Dominique Encel teaches me about chocolate cake base. I love this cake because it's flourless. It's different than any classical American cake. And now he's cutting some chocolate cake. We're going to build a mini cake for miniature meringues.
Let me just cut you off there and give a big shout out to Bailey Doggo. Bailey's just been a big friend of the broadcast. Bailey's been on the broadcast quite a few times. And shout out Bailey. Continue.
So are you done? Do you want me to get back to
that was
the baking?
probably like I just thought that was better than what you were leading into.
Right. Okay. Well, to be fair, he was speaking with a very heavy French accent.
I actually
so I
can do a
got
French
most
accent.
Of that wrong.
You know that?
I would beg you not to.
Okay. You don't have to beg. Trust me.
What accents can you do? Mate, I don't want to hear any of them. I just want to know that you're capable. If I had to call on you for them.
So I can do an Indian accent, a Vietnamese accent, a Chinese accent.
I don't want you to do
a French accent.
These.
I can do an Italian accent. I'm actually one thing I get complimented on is my accents because I like to I'm into acting and I'm trying to portray a lot of roles and I'm trying to step out into another character. So I don't know if you know this, I'm kind of a big deal when it comes to acting.
I heard you're a kingpin.
Yeah, so I really embrace my character. And so I do spend some time in the mirror trying to nail those.
I just want to say, I don't care how good an actor you are, you're never going to pass for Indian. So let's not even try. But if you were to be an actor, what kind of role, what are you looking for? Do you want like the heavy dramatic stuff? Do you want an Oscar? Or are you like a Zach Galifianakis manic?
I think I'm more of not a main character. I'm just a high impact character. I'm the guy that comes in, right? And you develop a really strong, love for that character. You really value that person. You're like, okay, this person's going to make it through the whole series, the whole movie. He's the best. And then I just get brutally like killed. And then everyone's really upset. But it was the best 5 minutes that you've ever seen. Have you seen
Mission Impossible 3?
Yes.
You know where the woman who played Felicity, she's in it, and you're like, oh, it's the woman who plays Felicity. I know her. She's like a big actor in this movie. And then 5 minutes in, the bomb goes off in her brain, or her eye goes like that. It's like that would be you. You're the one that gets killed. You're Steven Seagal who gets killed off at the beginning of not Courage Under Fire, whatever that dumb Steven Seagal movie is.
I'm probably going to get really hammered for this, but I haven't watched Game of Thrones yet. I've only seen like the first season.
You haven't watched Game of Thrones?
Yeah, but I imagine I'm like the Ned Stark. You know what I mean?
Can we mute him? Oh yeah, that's
very good.
Unmute him. That was a very good analogy.
Yes, thank you.
That was very good.
I've been unmuted.
That was much better than the food takes that you had earlier. I'm seeing that Juves is Mark Wahlberg. Rusty said Juves is Kramer, 1,000%.
Juves is Mark Wahlberg. Yes, dude. I actually can do a crazy amount of push-ups as well, by the way. So I kind of am like a Mark Wahlberg.
Okay. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to hop on your wooden tiger table and just do 10 push-ups. Go.
The table will flip straight up.
Okay, just do it next to the table. Let's go full screen on Juves now.
But I'm wearing tracksuit pants.
That's okay. I'm wearing shorts. This is home. Look at that. Look at that leg. No one cares what you're wearing underneath. It's just looking professional on top.
Am I going to get in trouble from production if I do a push-up?
Of course you're not. We did push-ups on the broadcast last year. You're going to get in trouble if you don't do it well. Here's how you know you're not going to get in trouble. They're enabling this.
Here we go. Take off my glasses.
Yep.
Okay. Guys, I want Twitch chat to do it with me. Everyone do it with me. Oh, my dog's bed's here. I've got to move my dog's bed. Unfortunately, it's in the way.
No one do any push-ups.
Everyone do push-ups with me. I got to move my webcam a little bit, guys.
I'm not feeling comfortable. Juice, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can.
I'm not feeling comfortable about the fact that you're wearing socks with this because that looks like a slippery floor. Are you going to be okay?
Trust me, dude. Ready?
Okay.
I'll even go slow. Look at this form. That's 1.
That's incredible.
Look at the form. 2. And I'll talk you through it, guys. Make sure your chest hits the ground like this. That's 4. And that's 5. We're promoting fitness and health, okay? That's 5. I think that's 5. That's 6. Honestly, make sure you're tensing your chest on the way down and like you feel like you're activating them. And push up. And don't be afraid to go a little bit faster or a little bit slower. Just do what's comfortable, okay? And like I'm starting to sweat.
9.
That's 9, and that's maybe 10.
Yeah, that's 10.
Look, I'll do another one, okay? I'll do another.
Oh,
there
wow.
you go.
Oh, look at this. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Now, do you take requests?
What do you want?
So I saw a video of 2 OPL personalities. I believe one of them was Ubisoft and the other one was Rusty the Caster, my least favorite person in Twitch chat.
Yep.
They did this thing where they did a handstand up against a wall and put on a shirt as they were doing a handstand.
I did see
Can we
that.
get one of those?
No, no, you can't get those.
You can't?
No, you got to pay for those.
What if you just put it on another shirt?
We definitely have some good news for the people at home.
That's right, and that good news is that Juves is about to do that thing I said, which was do a handstand and see if he can put on an extra shirt.
Wait,
the other
Croc?
good news,
Wait.
good news is that we've got 7 of the players in the game. But look, honestly, I don't know if that's good news or bad news because I've been enjoying the last 20 minutes.
Can I just say something?
Please.
Lol Croc has called me out.
What did they say?
Croc from the Chiefs Esports Club, the Kingpin Jungler, the MVP for the Chiefs Esports Club, has literally just said, I do better push-ups than Juves.
That's ridiculous. Croc, I want you to send me...
Send us a video,
Boy,
Croc.
NICHBOY on Twitter. Send me a video of you doing at least 13 push-ups because Juice did 12, and also send a video of you doing that thing where you put a shirt on when you're doing a handstand. You can already be wearing a shirt.
Just send that one to Nick only.
I could probably do it here. I could totally just get up there and do a handstand and put on that shirt.
You can if you want, but you only have 3 players worth of time. Oh no, this is how terms of service starts for sure. What has this become? Oh my goodness. So, sometimes I wonder, does Nick Boy have kids or is Nick Boy the kid? I haven't figured it out yet. And don't tell him because he's about to put his headphones back in.
Too easy.
We were just saying how we think you're like real awesome and cool and mature.
Yeah, no, totally.
That was cool though, honestly, well done. Well done.
Well, I wonder if there's a masterclass to see whether or not you're having a heart attack.
For sure there is.
Tell you what, God.
All right.
Some people.
Twitch chat reckons you're the kid. They reckon you are the kid.
Oh, that I don't have kids, but I am the kid?
Yeah.
That's a good theory.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that makes... Yeah.
So who were those voices in the baby you saw earlier in the broadcast?
Yeah, I think that was you, but you just pre-recorded it and just a skit, really.
I just want to point out that the views have gone up 328 viewers since we stopped playing League of Legends.
I'm just phoning into production. 328 viewer rise since me and Nick Boy have taken over the show. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
If this keeps going, we're going to hit the Valorant numbers.
I think honestly, we should just at this point just scrap everything and just keep the camera, and we'll just keep going for as long as we can. As long as there's saliva in my mouth to say the words. So as long as the words come out, and I think we'll just be on a slow rise.
Do you think that there's some sort of way that we could put this into a charity stream, but then also be make news by being the guys who don't actually donate any of the money they raise?
I was about to say that. Well, we could start taking funds.
Yeah.
But man's got to buy a house, if you know what I mean.
I think it means exactly what you said.
If you know what I mean, man's got to leave soon.
You don't need to keep nodding and saying, "Do you know what I mean?" We
No,
all
no.
know what you mean.
No, but I want you to know what I mean. I don't want Twitch chat to know what I mean. So I'm
Right.
trying to make a deal with you while
Yep.
Twitch chat doesn't understand.
Yeah. But I just need you to understand that there are more people watching this than there were the League of Legends broadcast that was on earlier. So they're all listening.
We're not talking about that anymore. That's our past life. That
Right,
you know,
okay.
we're moving on.
Okay, good. I am just I'm now just seeing clips. I'm just seeing clips come in of you doing push-ups.
Oh, no,
and
where?
me just breathing heavily.
Who? Where are these clips?
There's people. There's a bunch of people sitting here with nothing else to do. They thought they were going to be some League of Legends game, and it turns out no, it's cancelled.
I have I have a fair few notifications on the social media.
Do you want to take wagers
Yep.
on who the 3 players that are causing so much delay?
Oh,
to get back
100%.
in the
I already
game
know
are?
who. I already know who.
I think we could be thinking about at least 2 of the same people.
Okay.
Okay, say the first person on 3. 1,
1,
2,
2,
3.
3. Harry.
Rare.
Ooh.
Same team.
Yeah. Hey, no, Rare would have been my second though.
Okay, do your
Yeah.
second. 1,
1,
2,
2,
3.
3.
Harry.
Chippies. Oh, no, you
Oh!
mean, sorry.
I thought
you
we were
meant-
gonna be. I thought this was gonna be a
sorry.
thing.
No, see, I got a small brain.
Yeah. No, that's
But no,
fair.
let's start again.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
So
on
1,
3. 1,
1, 2, 3.
Dream.
Dream. Yep.
Rare.
Or Rare. Yes, Rare 7. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Rare.
Okay, go again. 1, 2, 3. Harry.
Yes. And then
There we
the
go.
third one that can't get into the game. Let me have a quick think about that. Let me scan the players.
Yep.
Uh,
I've got it.
You've got it? Is it all in the
Yep.
same team? Can I ask that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Rare's best friend.
Yeah. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3.
Only.
Ayla. What?
Oh,
Is that Rare's
God.
best friend?
Wait. You think Ayla is Rare's best friend?
They're in the bot lane together.
Yeah, but they just work together. That's not what they do when they're not playing League. They don't,
I would have
you know-
said that
you know- Can I
Rare's
tell you what I
best
heard?
friend-
Can I tell you what I heard? Can I tell you what I heard?
Go. I like gossip. I love it. Go, hit me up.
I heard they actually hate each other. But you didn't hear it from me.
Well, I mean,
'Cause
there's like,
'cause
we have
do
like
you know what I
8,000
heard?
other people to blame in Twitch chat.
Do you know what I heard?
What?
I heard?
What?
I heard that Rare told Harry, who told Swiper, who told Only, that he doesn't want Ayla in bot lane anymore. That's what I heard. But that's what I heard. That's all that I heard.
Do you know what I heard?
What did you hear? Tell me.
I
I
heard-
won't tell anyone.
I heard when everyone goes to bed, Spawn and Only are in the gaming room still, and they pull up Sinjuve's VODs, and they study and analyze it. That's what I heard.
Right, okay.
And do you know who told them?
Who?
Okay, so hear me out.
Yeah.
You know the old order members?
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
Spooks and Swiffer and all that? Well,
Yeah.
they heard from someone else who they wouldn't tell me that
Oh, do tell.
they heard and they told me.
Interesting. Well, you know what I heard?
What'd you hear?
I heard that you couldn't even do a handstand and put on a shirt. That's what I
Yeah.
heard. Yeah.
And you
that's
know what I heard?
What?
I did 10 thick, solid, tight push-ups.
Okay, right. Thick, solid. Can I tell you what I heard?
What?
When I was doing a handstand, I think I heard one of the slats on the bed break. Oh my goodness.
All right.
Yeah, but it's definitely order. There's no way it's
there's
not
no way
order
it's not order.
members.
I
I reckon
guarantee
Rare
you-
and Only have
I
actually just
guarantee
left
you-
the room.
I guarantee if I called Spawn right now, it'd just be a house on fire, and he'd be like,
Yeah.
"I'm trying to get them in game. Like they're trying to get in game, and and it is what it is."
I would like to get some OPL t-shirts made, and I would like those t-shirts to just say, "Do you know what I heard?" And it's just you and I dressed up like American teenage schoolgirls gossiping on our phones. That's
Or-
what I would like to see.
And then the other one, and then the other T-shirt design is like, "Do you know what I heard?" And it's your ear to the webcam, like this.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
you know?
If there are any artists out there, I'd love to see that designed. I'm
Yep.
fairly certain. I think Jimmy, are you here? I thought I saw your name there earlier. I would love. I'm just saying. Here's what I heard. You all made incredible art and sent it to me. That's what I heard. What I have not heard is any more news about the game.
No.
So I'm just going to assume. Oh wow, here we go. Clip: Nick Boy attempts a handstand on his guest bed during Chrono Break.
Nick Boy. It should actually be called Nick Boy breaks a slat on his bed.
This is a bad time. Yeah, this is.
Is it a bad time? Is it a bad?
Yeah.
Is it? How bad? How bad are we talking?
Oh no, I don't actually look that bad.
No.
No, I look pretty good.
You do look you do look quite athletic for a dad. For like a dad bod kind of guy.
Tell you what.
Yeah.
I could get into that.
Like.
Oh my god, the likes are pouring in as well. I am so into. Subscribe to my Patreon. What were we talking about?
I honestly, at this point, I don't know. At this point,
seriously, can we just? Do you think production is even trying at this point? Because I feel like
I'm scared.
I think it's a dare now to just see how long we go.
Well, you know what my problem with this whole scenario is, okay? You know when you're growing up and your parents don't say anything, and they're so angry with you that they don't say anything.
But they're disappointed.
You're disappointed. And it's the conversation with, I'm not even angry anymore, I'm just disappointed.
Absolutely.
Now, see, I don't know if production's doing that with us. So I'm scared, it is so far gone that I'm just gonna get they're gonna chime in and say, okay, look, Jubes, Nick Boy, we're not mad, we're just disappointed.
You mean because of what we've been doing? Or this is our punishment? Yeah,
what we've been doing.
Oh no.
We're nearly at 8K viewers, so that's nearly a 500 viewer increase.
I will say that I have said and done many things over the course of the last nearly 2 years of being involved in this broadcast that were wildly more inappropriate than what we've done tonight. And no one has ever had the balls to say anything to me about it. So I think that oh no.
Guys,
I have
we've got some
really
terrible
bad news for you guys. Unfortunately, they have figured out how to get the game working, and it has resumed, and we're now just waiting to get back in and to be caught up on the competitive integrity delay. Unfortunately, the game is going ahead.
If
I really do hope that Rusty and Skimmy have to start casting from 4 seconds before the Nexus explodes.
If I may have one more request from Twitch chat before we say Bon Voyage. Is Bon Voyage bye or hi? Bon Voyage is bye.
I think it's like Aloha and it's both.
Okay, anyway, before we go, my last request is the moment me and Nick Boy leave, can we just get Twitch chat flooded with Bible Thump?
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice. That's we're signing off. It could never happen again, right? This could go down in history.
Can I just say, and we're about to throw, but Jews, it's going to be really weird when we're back on air in approximately 90 seconds because the game's over, and then we're going to have to talk about League of Legends, whereas for the last hour we did kind of book reviews and handstands and push-ups.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on the Kingpin podcast. It's time to get back into the end of Game 2 of Order versus Direwolves. Let's get some Bible thumbs in the chat as we resume with your color commentators, Rusty and Skimmy.
That is right. We are back, Rusty. You're here as well. The players are back in this one as well, and it's been a long journey. I feel like this is, stressful, obviously, for the coaches, the players involved, for maybe the community at large. They got to witness so much content.
Yeah, we've got to let these Bible thumbs play out, though, for the moment. We're about to get back into an exciting moment, so let's get the tears out of the way, and then we'll back it up with tears of joy once we finally get to see what the heck's happening in this game, Skimmy, because last time we were here, it was really close to the game ending. Now, we've gone back about, I want to say 20-odd seconds, and it seems like, the same thing cannot be said for what is going to happen here. Chippies isn't going to die, and they're not going to be able to just run it straight into end of the game. What we have seen, though, is that they are going to still pick the same lane, Skimmy.
They are. Top lane is where they went for last time. Cosmic Radiance had been popped on the Nexus. They were looking to end things out. Now the narrative looks to be the same again. The package is there for Shock. What resources do they have? Now they've had so much time to consider how this fight may play on out.
We've got 3 items here for Chippies as well. Completes the Guardian Angel like we saw used 7 hours ago. Swiper uses the ultimate. They are still going to hunt for this.
Out comes the Nature's Grasp with Cosmic Radiance again, looking for the pick, but they're just going to drive straight on towards that core. They want to end this game, and they'll look for the end. They will get that end. Order will end this game up and down, make it a 2-0. That's the result we saw. That's the result we wanted. And that, Rusty, is the result we will get, as they are now on match point to advance to take on the Chiefs.
We waited an hour for this. We waited so long for the expected result. Holy...
Yes, Rusty, I think you have said it all. For me, for them, and for everyone at large.
God, and you know what? Because we're going to be throwing to a break, not to the other two.
They need a
numpties.
break. They do.
They
don't
need a break.
They've been talking.
Can I just
too
say,
much.
they deserved those Bible thumps. They did incredible work.
Unbelievable. The amount of banter, the fact that the viewers rose as a result of the break. I mean, hands off, really. To Juves, the guy's a monster. But we're going to take a break, this time to a screen, so everyone can get cool, calm, composed, get themselves ready for the game number 3 in this best-of-5 series. Clean slate, clean idea, and a new chance to see who advances in the OPL playoffs.